there are additional resolutions introduced in the United Nations. Up until this point, we have pushed away against European efforts, for example, or other efforts, because we've said the only way this gets resolved is if the two parties work together.
But you're not sure you're going to continue doing that?
Well, here's the challenge. If, in fact, there's no prospect of an actual peace process, if nobody believes there's a peace process, then it becomes more difficult to argue with those who are concerned about settlement construction, those who are concerned about the current situation. It's more difficult for me to say to them, be patient, wait, because we have a process here.
In other words, blame the Jews. Senior contributing editor, Jerusalem Post, author of The Israeli Solution, a one-state plan for peace in the Middle East. The great Caroline Glick is with us. Caroline, thank you for joining us. I got to tell you, as blockbuster as I believe this interview was on Israeli television, I'm not seeing it in the media here all that much. To me, it sounds like it's a fait accompli unless he's playing a very, sick game with Netanyahu here.
What do you mean that he's
as far as going to the, as far as letting the, letting the UN vote on a Palestinian state?
I mean, anything is possible. I know that President Obama has a UN veto against Israel, sort of as a sword against Israel's neck for many years. He uses it, and then he threatens Israel and makes Israel give concession after concession, constantly with this threat, this sword of Damocles over Israel's head. We're going to abandon you at the UN. We're going to abandon you at the UN. And then, it doesn't happen. It's not quite clear. I mean, what is clear is that they're hoping to launch an offensive against Israel at the end of June. After they anticipate that they're going to be able to conclude the nuclear framework deal or the comprehensive nuclear deal with the Iranians. So yes, I think that this may actually be moving forward from the American perspective, because that was an open threat to the Israeli public.
Yep, absolutely. And I want you to hear, so there's no doubt about who he's blaming. Let's listen to this soundbite as well.
The danger here is that Israel as a whole loses credibility. Already, the international community does not believe that Israel is serious about a two-state solution. The statement the Prime Minister made compounded that belief that there's not a commitment.
All right, so he's blaming Israel. He's always ignored the Palestinians. You heard him mention settlements the first time around. And this comes on the heels of David Axelrod revealing that in the Oval Office, Obama once told him, "I'm the closest thing to a Jew that's ever sat in this office."
Look, I mean, I think that what we are seeing here is a very peevish president who has personalized everything. I mean, he personalized the Iranian nuclear deal that he's negotiating. He said that from his perspective, it's important because it's his legacy. I mean, this is a deal that is going to expose tens of millions of people to murder and to death in a nuclear holocaust and a regional nuclear war that's going to lead, very likely, or is liable to lead to a world war the likes of which humanity has never experienced. And he said that from his perspective, the worst thing about this deal, or the most dangerous aspect of the deal, is that it has his name written on it. Which, this is a man who thinks it's all about him, and so clearly doesn't like Netanyahu on a personal level, and for him that means that he has to go out and destroy what's important to Israel, to Netanyahu, which is the Jewish state. I mean, destroy may be too large a word, but attack it, threaten it, and not back Israel, the democracy in the Middle East, from its enemies, both in the Western world, those who seek to delegitimize Israel and demonize Jews, and say that we have no right to national liberation and freedom, and also enabling and empowering our worst enemies, from the Iranians to the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, to attack us.
And Caroline, if the UN votes to recognize a Palestinian state, what does that mean? What's the immediate impact on Israel?
Well, it doesn't really have an impact on Israel unless it's done as a binding UN Security Council resolution under Chapter 7, and there are some sort of indications of the use of force against Israel. So if it's even if it's a Security Council resolution, if it's a declaratory resolution under any article in Article 7, which is the which is really the only UN chapter of the UN Charter that has weight of international law. If it's not under Chapter 7, then it's just another anti-Israel resolution. It's a problem. It's a diplomatic problem, but it's not.
Right.
It's not a specific.
Caroline,
and I don't think there's been any talk of putting it under Chapter 7.
Great to talk to you, Caroline. Thank you for making time for us. I appreciate it. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Steve. Have a great day.
Caroline Glick, ladies and gentlemen. The Malzberg panel's next. Don't you miss it.